Hey guys, and welcome to part 3 of my actor breakdown of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Check my channel for the first 2 parts if you haven't seen them already, but if you're here from part 2, let's get right back to it.
Mr. Jameson, it's like this. We double book page 6.
So Hoffman is played by Ted Raimi. Yeah, many of you will know that Ted is the brother of Sam Raimi, and he often cameos in his older siblings' films from time to time. For example, he was the person performing in the Henrietta costume in The Evil Dead.
Once in my fruit cellar!
You also might know Ted for his roles as Lieutenant Tim O'Neill in Sequest, and he played Joxer the Mighty in both Hercules: The Legendary Journeys and Xena Warrior Princess.
You like the sight of blood so much, keep talking.
I'm disappointed in you, Xena. I thought you'd recognize talent when you saw it.
Other roles of his include parts in Clear and Present Danger. In Darkman, he gets run over by a truck. And a more recent role of Ted's you might recognize is as Travis Hackett in the video game The Quarry.
Now you folks want to tell me just what in the hell you are doing all the way out here this late at night.
Mr. Jameson told me to give that to you.
Ah. Welcome to the Daily Bugle.
Okay, so I remember being quite surprised when I found out that Miss Brant is played by the very famous actress Elizabeth Banks. I think the brunette hair threw me off, as she's usually blonde. Banks has over 250 IMDb credits, so forgive the horrifically brief summary I'm about to do. But amongst her roles are parts in The Hunger Games, Scrubs, 30 Rock, and in 2017, she was cast as the villainous Rita Repulsa in Power Rangers.
How cute. The Rangers found their costumes in their dino cars. Well, let's give them something else to play with.
She also reunited with Tobey Maguire once in The Details.
He wants me to invest in a new restaurant of his.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, well, everything that guy touches turns to gold. Maybe we should consider it.
Yeah, maybe.
And she's done some voice acting, most notably in the Lego Movie where she played Wildstyle.
This is so weird!
You're not the special, you lied to me!
And Banks is a director too, her best known project being the 2019 remake of Charlie's Angels, which she also wrote, and produced, and starred in.
Charlie sends love angels.
And to top that off, she's now hosting her own game show, a revival of the CBS daytime hit Press Your Luck. Damn, that's a busy lady.
This is television's most competitive game show where you have to take big risks to win big bucks.
Okay, so a notable extra appears here. See this homeless guy with the bike? That's a guy called Craig Castaldo, more commonly known as Radio Man. He's a guy that's appeared as an extra in over 100 features and was a former homeless man in real life. But being a man living on the streets of New York meant him running across a lot of films being shot there. He did one film, ended up enjoying it, and went on to appear in more productions than I can count. And he's been described as the celebrity's celebrity. It seems like every famous actor working today knows who this guy is.
That is Radio Man.
Oh, Radio Man's out there!
That's really Radio Man?
That's
Radio Man.
the Radio Man.
Thank you for pointing that out.
If you ever work in New York and you want to know what time you have to be at work tomorrow or where your location is, he can tell you.
There's a whole hour-long documentary about this guy on YouTube, so check it out if you want to learn more.
Excuse me, Miss Watson. I'm talking to you. Hey!
Yes, Enrique, okay? I get you.
Well, you better not happen no more, you hear me?
So Enrique here is played by one Lou Torres. Torres has a bunch of minor roles and some well-known flicks. Here he is acting alongside Jimmy Fallon in Taxi.
What part of Cuba are you from? Oh, what part of Cuba are you from? Havana. Havana? Oh, como nosotros somos de Havana. Como Havana. Cigar!
And the same year Spider-Man came out, Torres helped produce an independent film called Manito, which was critically lauded and won many awards, including the special Grand Jury Prize at the Sundance Film Festival.
Quest Aerospace is recapitalizing in the wake of the bombing, expanding. They made a tender offer we can't ignore.
American stage, film, and television actor Jack Betts plays Mr. Henry Balkan. Bet has a career that spans several decades. In his early years, he was known for his spaghetti western roles, where he went by the name Hunt Powers. Two of his lead roles were in the 1966 film Sugar Cult and in 1971, he played the role of Butch Cassidy in A Fistful of Death. Now that's a title.
Sundance, let me have a cigar, will you? You know, you can still back out of this if you want to.
And in his later career, he made many one-off appearances in shows like Seinfeld, and in Friends, he goes on a date with Phoebe.
So, which one of you lovely ladies am I going to take to dinner, huh?
Oh, that'd be me, sir. After you.
Okay, thank you.
But as far as roles that you, my audience, might recognize more, he did have two brief appearances in Joel Schumacher's Batman movies. This is him as a fisherman in Batman Forever, and in Batman and Robin, he was one of the guys betting on Poison Ivy.
And I'm in $500,000!
He also had a part in a Power Rangers season once as Counselor Brody in Lost Galaxy.
Let's keep our goal in mind. Our mission is to find a new world in the Eurodian galaxy. We are not equipped for rescue missions. It is just too risky.
Please. Norman, the board is unanimous. We're announcing the sale after the World Unity Festival.
So let's take a look at the guy in the wheelchair. That is the late Gerry Becker, playing Dr. Xavier Maximilian Fargas. Becker appeared in an amalgamation of stuff. His most notable role probably being Andy Kaufman's dad in the Jim Carrey starring Man on the Moon.
No more playing alone. You want to perform, you have got to have an audience.
He was also in Law and Order, where over the years on the show, he played 6 different characters.
Day before yesterday, 2 p.m., I was just finishing Meals on Wheels. Every week, same time, same day. We're not like you guys in New York.
You also might remember him from films like Eraser, Die Hard with a Vengeance, and here he is with Johnny Depp in Donnie Brasco.
Well, you want to keep an eye on me or something?
No, to make sure you receive the proper support.
Oh, the proper support.
And to make sure that in all the hubbub, there are no missed opportunities.
Oh, and did you know Becker is in Home Alone? Yeah, he's the cop that arrests Harry and Marv at the end of the film.
Nice move. Always leaving the water running. Now we know each and every house that you've hit.
Perhaps Marv resisting arrest is why he ended up in the wheelchair. Oh, and before I move on, there's 2 people on the board of directors that are played by people definitely worth mentioning. This guy is the late Sumner Redstone, who was a real-life multi-billionaire, and being the lead shareholder of a little company called Viacom probably helped in that regard. Viacom being the parent company of CBS, Paramount Pictures, MTV, Nickelodeon. Yeah, you understand now why this guy was loaded.
Success is not built on success. It's built on failure. It's built on frustration. It's built on catastrophe and what you do about it.
And then there's this particular gentleman, the late Loren who was a prominent stuntman in his early years. 2 of his most famous stunts was this one in How the West Was Won.
They said when I hit the cactus and went down, the entire audience rose, applauded, and sat back down for the rest of the movie. So it was kind of unusual to have a standing ovation in an actual theater.
And he doubled for Steve McQueen in Bullet. Yeah, this guy was the man driving the Ford Mustang through the streets of San Francisco. I think this automatically makes him the coolest dude to have ever lived. Okay, first time I'm crediting someone for playing themselves, but this is of course famed R&B and soul singer Macy Gray. You'll probably recognize her most famous hit, I Try. And while she's known as a singer, she went on to perform many acting roles in films, such as Training Day.
Well, you got the gun, don't you, boys?
That's right, I do.
Punk-ass, bitch-ass, crooked-ass cop.
The Tyler Perry-directed Four Colored Girls.
That world is something. I used to live in that world. And then I moved to Harlem, and my universe is now 6 blocks.
And here she is in a shootout in Scary Movie 3. Oh, and if anyone played the snowboarding game SSX Tricky back in the day, you might be interested to know that Macy Gray voices one of its characters.
Where you get them shoes? Check it out, I'm a goddess. Now that's Funko-matic.
Macy has also appeared in a whole assortment of reality shows, from Dancing with the Stars, the Australian version of The Masked Singer, and in 2022, she represented Ohio in the inaugural American Song Contest. She did not make it past the first round.
What the hell was that?
Okay, so there are a million extras in this scene, but if I told you that Michael Myers of Halloween fame was on that balcony, you'd want me to point that out to you, right? Well, the guy who portrayed him in the second movie, actor Dick Warlock, is indeed on that balcony. And I could be wrong, but I believe this is him.
The Green Goblin's coming in and throw a bomb. Bomb's gonna go out, fire, and the parts of concrete are gonna fall on you and all this, and you're gonna run around and it's a big melee. I was one of the gray-headed guys, and we're all kinds of executives on that balcony.
Now, Warlock was also a prominent stuntman, most famously working with actor Kurt Russell as his personal stunt double for over 25 years. You also might remember his use of a cattle prod in Casino.
Man down!
And remember when Lone Star does the Vulcan neck pinch in Spaceballs? Yeah, that is Dick Warlock playing the guard there.
Oh, no, stupid. You got it much too high. It's down here where the shoulder meets the neck. Like this? Yeah.
As it turns out, the Vulcan neck pinch was Michael Myers' weakness all along. Okay, this is officially the most redundant thing I've said in my life. That man you see there is a guy called Stan Lee. I think he wrote some comic books once, seems to have done alright for himself. In all seriousness, Lee was the king of the cameo, so I'm not even gonna attempt to show you a highlight of what he's been in. I'd be scratching the epidermic layer of the surface there. So here's what I'll do. For every time I see Stan Lee in a movie in this series, I'll share with you one interesting tidbit about the man. Okay, one fun fact about him now. Back in 1940, when Stan Lee was 19, he joined the army, though we didn't see action as he joined the Signal Corps branch, which was responsible for the creation and upkeep of telecommunications. But there, Lee actually helped produce educational and uplifting illustrations for US servicemen, and one of the men he worked with on these was a man called Theodore Geisel, more commonly known as Dr. Seuss. Yeah, crazy to think that these two worked together at one point. What crazy concoctions do the two men have waiting for us on the other side, do you think?
It's Spider-Man!
So, this particular girl is called Julia Barry, and she is the daughter of Spider-Man's producer, the late Laura Ziskin. Barry didn't have much of a movie career though, as she went on to work as a professional therapist based in Boston. And the services she offers sound like they'd be a great help to our favourite web crawler.
My areas of specialization include the treatment of post-traumatic stress disorders, depression, anxiety, relationship issues, and personal growth.
Peter, get this woman on the phone stat. Okay, so Billy, the suicidal child here, is played by Shane Habberstad. And it's extra fitting that he's involved in a big action set piece here, as Habberstad would grow up to become a stuntman. For example, he was Nick Jonas's stunt double in Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, and Ty Sheridan's double in X-Men Apocalypse. On that movie, Shane worked with his older brother Trevor in the stunt department, though tragically Trevor died from stomach cancer at only 27 years of age. But Shane would go on to work as a stunt coordinator on many commercials and Marvel productions, and you can see him again here as a disguised Skrull in Captain Marvel. Oh, and Billy's mother is played by Canadian actress Deborah Wakeham. She's done a lot of television roles, but she was super busy in the 80s with appearances in Quantum Leap, 21 Jump Street, and in the A-Team, she gets rescued by an unexpected guest.
Why don't you go play in traffic?
Fuck 'em up, Hulkster!
Are you okay?
Yeah. You gotta nail him, Hulkster.
Can't be too many people that can say they've been saved by both Spider-Man and Hulk Hogan.
Hold it right there!
I surrender!
Oh boy.
Hold it right there!
Okay, so this cop is one crazy talented guy. This is Rick Avery, a stuntman with over 400 credits to his name. First off, you might remember him from Heat, where he gets his head blown off. And he's also this cop in Batman Begins.
Coming right up on his butt.
But his work as a stuntman and coordinator is nuts. He's been thrown out of buildings, he's been set on fire so many times he's now ungodly nonchalant about it, and he's been decked in the face by many famous men. Jackie Chan, Mel Gibson, Chuck Norris, though he got to kick Ben Stiller in the face once when he doubled for Dustin Hoffman in Meet the Fockers.
Now look what you did.
And he worked as a stunt coordinator on Blues Brothers 2000, where a grand total of 64 police cars get totaled. He's a talented guy, Rick Avery, but his services don't come cheap, apparently. So this one was quite a surprise for me. The guy who you see perking his lips at MJ is none other than Benny the Jet Urquidez, and the thugs around him are played by his own personal stunt team. If you don't know Benny the Jet, sorry, we can't be friends. The Jet is a legend of kickboxing and is very well known for his film collaborations with Jackie Chan in the films Meals on Wheels and Dragons Forever. If you haven't seen Jackie Chan versus Benny the Jet, you have homework to do. Also, you know the actor John Cusack? As in, Say Anything High Fidelity John Cusack? Benny the Jet trained him how to kickbox, and the two have collaborated on screen together, like in this fight scene from Grosse Pointe Blank. Benny also worked on movies like Roadhouse and Street Fighter, training actors like Patrick Swayze and Ming-Na Wen how to fight.
You may be able to do this as take 1, but how about take 7 and take 10? And so now that they started shooting, they looked at me and said, I understand exactly what you meant.
Thank you, Sensei.
I can't let you in there. The roof's about to collapse. I can't let you in there. The roof's about to collapse.
Okay, two actors here. First off, we have American-Armenian actress Sylva Kelegian playing the mother that left her baby in a burning building. Kelegian definitely seems a lot more responsible than her character though, as first off, she's an award-winning author. Her book, God Spelled Backwards, is her memoir that also chronicles her dog rescuing work. Apparently she's rescued and rehomed over 500 dogs. Wow, Kelegian the legend. But she's really at home on the small screen. Name a show that aired in the 2000s, she's probably been on it. ER.
They thought that surgery and chemo and radiation could buy me some time.
NYPD Blue.
I'm just gonna tell you that there's people he's burned, and plenty of them.
Prison Break.
I may be plain, but I'm not a fool. Usually the men I end up with are just looking for something, you know, on the side.
Desperate Housewives. The list goes on.
I was shocked to hear about Al.
I can't remember the last time I was so devastated.
Didn't you just bury your husband yesterday?
That sucked, too.
And then we have the Fireman, who's played by Bill Calvert. Here he is as the father of a baby who would grow up to become Robert Downey Jr. in Heart and Souls.
Guess he's off to laugh at the kitchen now, huh? Buy him all these toys, he laughs at the walls.
Here's Bill again in an episode of Quantum Leap.
What's so bad about being a father? He says nothing. I just don't know how to break the news to my wife.
And in an episode of Night Court, Christine defends him as his lawyer, and Calvert develops a bit of an obsession with her.
But there comes a time when you have to throw caution to the wind. Abandon your fears, go with the moment before it passes you by. I want to spend that moment with you.
I'll get my coat.
Calvert also cameos again in Spider-Man 2. This is him in the train scene.
Hold it right there. You're under arrest. I'm taking you in.
Oh my God, there's somebody still up there!
Okay, 2 more actors here. Let's start with the cop, who's played by American actor Myk Watford. Watford has had quite the eclectic career. First of all, here he is as a guitar-playing zombie.
Oh, baby, you know you want it. We gon' be some sexy sinners tonight.
Yeah, this is the independent zombie flick Trailer Park of Terror, and it would seem Watford got a role like this because he is quite the avid musician himself. In fact, he heads his own swamp rockabilly band called Stumpwaller.
You know I'm a deaf man now.
But Watford has had more traditional roles as well, like portraying Aretha Franklin's producer in Respect.
Percy Sledge had that same look on his face when he first come in here. Then he heard him play, and he was very satisfied with his record. I think you will be too.
And he's acted in many TV shows. The Mentalist, Bones, NCIS, Breaking Bad, Law & Order SVU. I'll be here all day if I don't stop.
And Don Cragen and I go way back. We hated to lose this one.
Mm-hmm. And then we have this actress, who also worked on the film as a stand-in for Kirsten Dunst. And her first name is weirdly enough similar to Kirsten, because this is Kristen Marie Holly. Holly has done acting work in some minor films and commercials, and is an avid singer too. Here is a song of hers called Talking in My Sleep.
It's so pristine. Now and then I get to talking in my sleep. Now and then I have a dream that's so real. Now and then I get to know you. It's so good. I was stuck, you made me feel like I could.
Is she gonna be okay? What happened? What happened?
Look, you're gonna have to leave right now.
So, 2 hospital actors to briefly go through here. The male doctor is an American actor called Evan Arnold. He's made various TV and movie appearances. You might remember him from the Garfield movie. He's the guy holding the cat here.
No, but they're looking for a dog act on Good Day New York.
And the nurse is actress Jill Sayre. This is her in an episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
It's amazing how some people will judge you based on nothing more than your job.
Leave Spider-Man alone! You gonna pick on a guy trying to save a bunch of kids?
Okay, so this guy, played by actor Joe Virzi, is another Bruce Campbell situation, for he shows up in all 3 Spidey films as well. He plays a fireman in 2.
You got some guts, kid.
And a cop in 3. Wasn't able to find much about this guy though. I've found some musicians called Joe Virzi, but I can't confirm if it's him. But I do know that this is him alongside Danny Trejo in From Dusk Till Dawn 2, where he plays a wounded vampire.
I think this belongs to you.
You shouldn't have.
Oh yeah, I got something for your ass! You mess with Spidey, you mess with New York!
So, I don't know what it was about this guy, but before researching him, I just assumed he was super famous for something. But he's not. But the actor's name is Michael Edward Thomas. I've only found pretty minor roles from him, like a brief appearance in the Matt Damon Greg Kinnear comedy Stuck on You.
I'm alone.
Great, buddy. You're gonna stay that way, too.
And this is him in an episode of The X-Files.
Your employer wanted me to tell you.
You're fired.
But like Joe Virzi, Thomas also made a cameo appearance in Spider-Man 2, and coincidentally, it's in the same scene Virzi shows up in. Perhaps these two are buddies or something. I don't know.
We think there's a kid stuck on the second floor. Hey, where you going?
Okay, so a bunch of extras in the cable car have appeared in other things, but I'll go through just 2 of them that you as an internet audience might have a shot at recognizing. This girl is played by Ashley Edner. She went on to appear in lots of shows and movies, like Will and Grace and Judging Amy.
After the ride stopped, I tried to run after him, but he was gone.
And she's done lots of acting under prosthetics, like as this alien in Star Trek Beyond that Chekhov is trying to chat up.
Do you know that Scotch was actually invented by a little old lady in Russia? Huh?
And she appears a lot on the Real Rejects YouTube channel, doing reaction videos. Hey, here she is reacting to something that I helped make. Swings and roundabouts. And then there's this girl. That is a young Chloe Dykstra, a video game journalist and prominent cosplayer, most notably starring in the 2013 sci-fi series Heroes of Cosplay.
We've all gotten to know each other, and I love these people. What started off as kind of a working relationship with Holly and Jessica has blossomed into this. I feel like it could be a lifelong friendship.
Dykstra also appears in Spider-Man 2. This is her right here.
Me too.
But the name Dykstra might sound familiar to some of you, for Chloe is the daughter of John Dykstra, a VFX god, because he was the guy who pioneered the effects in this little film. Yeah, Chloe's father was one of the original founders of ILM, and John won the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects twice. First for the original Star Wars, and then again 27 years later for Spider-Man 2.
What an honor to be singled out in a year with so much terrific work. Boy, am I glad there wasn't a 4th episode of Lord of the Rings.
Oh, and John makes a cameo in Spidey 1 himself. Remember Suicidal Billy over here? Well, John is seen very briefly running by him.
He's not gonna make it! He's gonna make it!
And boy have I saved the best for last. But before I get to this fascinating man in front, the guy behind with the spotlight is a guy called Sean Valler, who worked on Spider-Man as a first assistant editor. But then there's the boat captain, who is played by the late Robert Kerman. So, no other way to say this really, this guy was a 70s porn star! I am not fucking with you. His porn name was R. Bowler, and he starred in such classics as Debbie Does Dallas, Inside Jennifer Wells, and Liquid R-Sets. And Kerman apparently really regretted doing these films, as it meant he wouldn't be taken seriously as a dramatic actor. But hey, Stallone made it work, so... I mean, Kerman did find non-porn roles. In fact, he found a leading role once. But we are talking about the controversial Italian found footage horror Cannibal Holocaust here. Here's a boring, non-gory scene from it.
The Yakumo Indian is a primitive, and he has to be respected as such. You know, did you ever think of the Yakumo point of view, that we might be the ones who are savages?
And it was during promotion for this film that Kerman met Sam Raimi, and he asked Kerman to audition for a role in Spider-Man. And so, the lives of Mary Jane Watson and a dozen school children were saved, thanks to a 70s porn star. Okay, that's every actor in Spider-Man that I can at least identify. Yeah, a few actors here are both uncredited and unknown, so if you're wondering why I didn't cover some people, that is why. Anyway, check out more of my stuff here. A big thank you to my patrons, I could not do this without you. And yeah, that's about it. So, take care of yourself, guys. Adios.